Now we will have the report of the CSU Alumni Council. President Morales.
Thank you, Chair Eisen. Well, I wasn't going to start with this, but since you brought it up, I also went to the eclipse. I was at Madras, Oregon, right in the totality. And I will tell you, I completely agree with the migration statistic, because at 7 hours to drive 70 miles after the eclipse, when everybody got in the same car at the same exact time, Central Oregon and most of the path of the eclipse was not equipped for the amount of people that showed up. But 2.5 minutes of life-changing experience, absolutely will not miss the next one. But thanks for those amazing pictures, because those really did illustrate it much better than my iPhone camera took. That kind of looked ridiculous. The first thing I wanted to talk about, I wish I had a great theme and it was a great communicator like Chair Miller, but I'm not, so I'm just going to go for it. We had our fall meeting a couple weeks ago at Channel Islands, so special thanks to President Beck for hosting us. Your campus is amazing. Your staff was awesome. We happened to be there on move-in day, and I will tell you that the Alumni Council wants to move in there. Camarillo is a place to be, so thank you so much for hosting us. We really appreciate it. As you probably remember, the focus of this meeting was career preparation. The Alumni Council has engaged in the grad initiative on those two fronts, career preparation and students' basic needs. So we were joined by several leaders from the campus career centers, which I think was very important, because oftentimes career centers are organized in student affairs, while alumni relations are organized in advancement. So to get that cross collaboration was very important. We heard really, really good programs and really great ideas, particularly from Cal State LA, CSUN, Dominguez Hills, and Channel Islands. So they're doing some great work, and I think all the other campuses had a lot to take back to develop relationships. And sometimes it's as easy as walking over to the Career Center and introducing yourself. And we had a lot of great examples of what we could do. I also wanted to thank Dr. James Miner and Marianne Jackman for being there. It really means a lot to our our Alumni Council to have a central office there to really explain, maybe demystify some of the myths that you might hear when you read about this proposal in the media. We really do appreciate that. And again, of course, to Dr. Blanchard, thank you for continuing to include us. And we really look forward to having alumni representation on at least one of the pillars of the grad initiative moving forward. We're currently working on our next meeting, which will be held at Cal Maritime in the spring. Very excited about that. We've got already plans to go on the boat, so everybody's very excited to do that. That meeting will focus on students' basic needs. So we are hard at work trying to put together a program that will really have some meaningful takeaways on what we can really do as alumni to help students that are really struggling. That was the meat of our meeting. I had two just kind of highlights that I wanted to also bring up. Chair Eisen, you mentioned the first. I'm very excited. We surveyed our alumni board and had overwhelming support to begin the transition to a zero waste type organization. Of course, as you know, that means not only reducing printouts, but it means replacing bottled water with either boxed water or even water pitchers and reusable glasses, washable, recyclable place settings for meals. I went to Humboldt State, so this is in my DNA. It's been something that we've been doing for a long time up there, so it was just a matter of time. But Chair Eisen, it was your leadership that really helped push us that direction. The second highlight is DACA. I know we've talked a lot about it today, and I'm very pleased to announce that at noon today, the Alumni Council will be releasing a statement supporting our DACA students and employees. First, we would, of course, want to thank the Chancellor, CSSA, their leadership for all that amazing work in DC last week. I followed it on social media. I was at regular work, but would have loved to be there. I think it's very clear that the CSU is leading in this area, and I think that's very, very important. So we are joining the other constituency organizations by releasing a statement. But I'd also want to say that beyond statements and resolutions are fantastic. But for those of us that really want to do something, if you're an attorney like myself, or even if you're not, there are many, many opportunities to get out there and really help these students. The Chancellor mentioned October 5th is a big day, so we got to do stuff now. All you really need to do is Google DACA help. Law schools in all of your communities are really kind of supporting all of this. Legal clinics, that's what they're there for. I was part of that when I was in law school, and the demand for DACA was high then, and you can only imagine the amount of really truly worthy people that need to get their applications or their renewals in, by October 5th. So we're very happy to be supporting the CSU on that. You'll see the statement later today. That maybe the one theme that we had this week was the Trustees Outstanding Achievement Award. That was amazing yesterday, meeting those 23 students, Chair Eisen, Maggie, those of us that were on that committee who read all the stories. The rest of you didn't hear the half of it. You really do get emotional when you read those. All of the presidents, of course, know your individuals that you nominated, but reading 23 applications was an incredibly moving experience, and yesterday was amazing. So it's my pleasure today to introduce our alumni guest speaker, a 2010 recipient of the Outstanding Achievement Award, Tyree Boyd Pates. He's a graduate of Cal State Bakersfield, so we talked about a Bakersfield theme. Can't get enough of it. Currently, he works as the history curator and program manager at the California African American Museum here in Los Angeles. He just oversaw the recent exhibition commemorating the 25th anniversary of the Los Angeles riots. He's also a contributor to Huffington Post Black Voices, and I think most important to this group, we're very fortunate to have him as part of our students' learning experience. He's a lecturer in Africana Studies at CSU Dominguez Hills. So I'll turn it over to Tyree to share a little bit of his story.
Greetings, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you. It's very interesting what 10 years can do. I'd like to give you guys a little bit of a storyline of how I met a very important gentleman to my life, Dr. Horace Mitchell, and the ways in which CSU has informed my trajectory and my career. As you all will learn, I am an Angelino by and large. I grew up in Koreatown, and the first 15 years of my life was spent there. And while there, I navigated the Los Angeles public school system, much to my dismay, because when I came to the end of my high school trajectory, I graduated high school with a 1.87 GPA. Now, you're all probably asking, how did he get here? And that's really the entry point. Dr. Horace Mitchell, at the same time in 2007, was involved with Super Soul Sundays, which was up and down California, courting Black churches on outreach to Black students who may have been needing extra assistance, whether it be educational opportunity programs and the like. What Dr. Horace Mitchell didn't know was that I was in those pews. And his efforts at West Angeles Church of God in Christ and the relationship that Cal State Bakersfield had built with that church would have lent me the opportunity to go to get a 4-year university education. So I want to give him some recognition for that. As I embarked at Cal State Bakersfield and met Dr. Coley, who's also here, hi there, I found myself there, and I had a new lease on life. I graduated with 1.87 GPA, but I owed it to my community as well as Cal State Bakersfield to make an impact. And so my freshman year, unfortunately, my mother passed away. And so as a legacy that I wanted to pay to her, I wanted to succeed. By and large, in 2010, I was recognized by Cal State Bakersfield with the Board of Trustees Award for my success. And I also found myself on the Dean's List 7 times and other merited awards, which I was very proud of. Very soon after, I was on a McNair Scholar, and that McNair Scholarship would lend me the opportunity to go to Temple University and get my master's degree in African American Studies. And all of that was because of the fostering and the cultivation at CSU Bakersfield for ethnic studies at the time, and also the continued trajectory. After Temple University, I heard about wonderful university called Cal State Dominguez Hills, who had an opportunity to be a part-time faculty as an adjunct professor in the Africana Studies department last year, which would lend an opportunity to work at the California African American Museum as their history curator. And so by and large, I just really want to say thank you to all of the Board of Trustees and the presidents who are in this room, because what you are doing for students of color, particularly Black boys, are giving them the opportunities to succeed in ways that will be culturally relevant and inform the futures of so many others. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tyree. Thank you for sharing your story and being with us this morning. We are truly proud to have you as part of our CSU alumni family. Thank you, Chair Eisen. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much, President Morales, and thank you for that wonderful story.